Uh, dang.
Oh my goodness. So, here's a little thing. Welcome, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to another great episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo. Doing the most right now. I had a little update with my microphone. I apologize, anybody that was sitting there staring at me, and Cozy's over there just like, what's going on? We said we were live. yeah, we live, all right. But I had to redirect my microphone after I just got done saying something like that to somebody else just the other day. It's crazy how the cards fall sometimes. But anyways, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe. It'd mean a lot to me for sure. But let's please get on to our guest today. That would be Cosy Beluga. What's going on, girl? How you doing? What's happening?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I love talking games. You know I love talking games. 'Cause every
Yes.
face, it's like always like, let's talk games.
Yeah, you're all about the game talk, and you're all about playing anywhere you go. Is that right?
Yes, I love cloud gaming. I get it. It's not for everyone, but I think more options for more people is the best thing about gaming is like more options for more people.
Absolutely. And so, are you a user of like Stadia or XCloud or like what do you use when you play on the go?
I'm a big user of xCloud, not so much of Stadia, not because I don't like it, but as a service, it didn't really offer me anything better. But the streaming on it is phenomenal. I will say the streaming through Stadia is phenomenal. I've tried it out, I've tested it, I bought a few games through there, but it just didn't offer anything additional that I couldn't get anywhere else.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, because it's like a third party machine. That's pretty much what it seems like as of right now. And I know they kind of put a halt to their first party, if I remember right.
Yep.
So yeah, not a whole lot going on there when it comes to like fresh and only found on Stadia kind of things. But before we get too far into it, let me go on ahead and ask you what gaming and social media platforms that you're currently on so people can check you out or come game with you. Let them
I
know.
am Cozy Beluga everywhere you can find. You will not find another Cozy Beluga. I am very careful about these usernames because I don't want you to find anyone else.
Okay,
Uh,
damn.
I that's my thing. Is like you can't just make. You have to make sure that is you, and no one else is gonna be under that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like Slow Mo said in one of the last episodes that we had. He went through just for a long time, just typing in different names because he didn't want the number behind it. He just
Yeah,
wanted the name to be there, and for it to be so weird of a name that nobody else wants to take that.
yeah. I mean, but if you find my Twitter, Cozy Beluga, that's everything that's available currently. I have some stuff that's like more private. My Steam, I don't usually share that. My GOG, I don't usually share that. But I think my Steam, yeah. But I am Cozy Beluga pretty much on both of those. Um,
All right, cool. Well, I mean, I gotta kind of know like where the heck he even got that name from, because that is something else. That's something I've like I don't even know where to correlate that.
this is where I out myself as one of those kids that was really obsessed with animals. Um, I I had a minor obsession with specifically belugas and narwhals. I can never mind. I won't even get super far into it, except for the fact that those are like in the same genus, and there's nothing else in that little group of genus family. There's nothing else in that group but belugas and narwhals, and I just thought belugas looked a little more ridiculous than narwhals, so I liked them. But then cozy, who doesn't like being cozy? It's like yeah, it's like my favorite feeling.
Fair enough. All about that snuggy life, eh? All
Have a
right, well,
snuggie.
you do.
Yes, I have a Snuggie.
Oh man,
A
I mean,
leopard
you
print
wouldn't be
Snuggie.
cozy without the Snuggie, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That is pretty good. I didn't expect you to be like, oh yeah, I got one of those. That's pretty dope. What are you playing right now? What's cracking? What's going on with you?
So I am 100% always playing Animal Crossing. Always. I have like 2,000 hours. I know that's wild. But right now I'm going through Gears again. I'm trying to finish Shadow Warrior 2. You know, that game never had my interest until I kept seeing these ads for like Shadow Warrior 3 and I was like, that looks fascinating. So now I'm trying to get through 2 so that I can get 3. And because Hypnospace that Hypnospace game is leaving Game Pass, I was like, let me try this out because randomly, whatever. And it's totally a wild game, and I love it. And I'm trying to finish that as well.
Okay, so you got a couple games that you're running through right now. Aaron in the chat, what up? Aaron VR from Sweden. What's happening now?
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah, I know him from the spaces.
Aaron! Who doesn't love Aaron?
Oh man, he got some knowledge. I enjoy listening to that gentleman talk in the spaces. He always has some keen things to say that really kind of make you step back and kind of think a little bit about, you know, sometimes what you just said. Like you're like, hold on a second. He hit the brakes on me a little bit right there. I'm cool with that. I like that because it helps me, you know, rationalize with other people and see how they, you know, put things together and whatnot. So, Aaron, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget, you guys, hit that like button. That make me a very happy gentleman this evening. But anyways, why is gaming so dang important to you? Because, I mean, we were talking back in the green room. You were talking about the first system that you played was like a Game Boy. Is that right? Like, or one of them.
Yes. Oh no, it was a Game Boy. It was the original gray Game Boy that
Ooh.
belonged to my brother, and he had a sack of batteries, and he would just let me play on that.
Sack
My
of
heart. He
batteries.
only had 3 games, though. He only had like 3 games, so
That's
it was
how
like
it went back in those
yes,
times, though.
it
You didn't have a
was.
whole lot of games. You just kept beating the same game
Mhm.
over and over and over.
I'm jealous of 5-year-old me that could beat Kid Icarus. Like I can't do that. I will probably never be able to beat that game as an adult, but as a kid, I swear. Um, but yeah, gaming is important to me because it's a way of like enjoyment and escape, and I really do believe that there is a game for everyone. I really do.
Absolutely.
And that is why it's important to me because I think it can connect people in ways that I think a lot of other things don't necessarily have that power.
I mean, very true. I mean, nothing makes somebody jealous consistently than seeing somebody always happy. And when you run into a gamer that's always playing games and they're always, you know, maybe they're not having a great time in the moment on that level, but they're happily picking it up over and over and over. And it got to the point that, like, I was playing games all the time. My lady was like, yeah, you need to go to bed. You need to go to bed. You know, I mean, you know, the typical spouse, what the hell you doing up this late kind of thing. And, and I ended up getting this game called Ark Survival Evolved. If you've watched the show several times in the past, you would know I got massive into that game. I got over 170 days in that game just by itself.
Wow.
Yeah, dumb. But I got so like into that game and then put it down like a sack of rocks. Like, and this was before I got heavy into it. I was just kind of at the beginning stages of like trying it out. I really liked it, but I didn't really have a whole lot of time for it. Check this out. I wake up at 3:14 a.m. and this is back in like 2016. I wake up at 3:14 in the morning, go to the restroom, and I see the TV, like, you know how you can see that like something's on in a different room because you can see, like, you know, the pictures changing and everything like that. And the lady wasn't in bed. So I was thinking at first maybe she passed out on the couch watching a show. Sure, right? But I had remembered going to bed with her in there the first time. So I was like, huh, what the hell is she doing? I walked over there. That girl was playing Ark Survival Evolved. Playing a game that I didn't think that she would be in whatsoever, but she liked how hard you had to grind and do different things, and you get these new levels, and then you can figure out how to craft these new different things, and she really enjoyed it, and she ended up being better than me and teaching me how to play part of that game, because that game is massive. That game has a lot of different things to learn in that game when it comes to like, knocking out animals or building or doing boss fights or taming. I mean just doing all of that stuff was tough, and it was really cool to be able to, really love gaming and then incidentally bring somebody else with me.
Yep,
Like
it's a beautiful thing.
now you're a big gamer with me too. Let's go. like I ended up getting another Xbox, and it just went down. That's how it went down.
Yeah, there's nothing more beautiful than that moment where a game clicks for someone else, and you're just like a close person to you who might not necessarily be involved, and it clicks for them, and you're just like, yes, now you understand. Now you're here. Yes. One of us.
Because I was about ready to put that game down. I'm not even gonna lie. I was about ready to put that game down because that's a game where it's really hard to play by yourself. When you're all alone, that game is not it. You want to have like a few people in your tribe, or at least one other person to help you build and figure shit out. So like once I got my girl in it, I was like, shit, it's going down. Like like we're playing, and like I said, days of gaming later, and now we're waiting for Arc 2 to drop together, and we're excited. But yeah, that's kind of my introduction of getting my woman into my gaming habits. But so you have other channels that you are on. You don't just do Twitter. You also have a Twitch channel, is that right?
Yes.
And what are you currently messing with on there? I know you mentioned a little bit of it earlier, but go on ahead and go over that one more time.
Usually on my Twitch, it's just me trying out various games. I do cloud versus install for games. I do wireless versus wired. Sometimes I'll be in different places and be like, this is how this game functions on this wired network, and this is how it functions on this wireless network. And that's mostly what I do.
You're over here just beta testing shit, just from one end of the place to another. Just how does this try out on this network today?
But I feel like you need people to do that because
Facts.
Someone always has that question like, I wonder how this works, and then you're like, no, I have a video of how this works.
Yeah, it is good, and it helps spread the word about like if there's an issue or something like that, or something to look into, or hey, there is no issue here. Game the hell on, right? So I mean that, and that's what we all want to hear. But carrying on a little bit, what made you get into content creation? Was that something that you just picked up one day, or is there a deeper story down the line? Like what brought the lady to Twitch?
I've always been a creative, but I think mostly the Twitch thing started because I work at a library. So I worked at a library for 12 years, a long time. So I liked information. So, and I also really love a lot of those informal channels, like that basically say like, here's what you need to do. Walkthroughs. I used to write walkthroughs on Game Facts, aging myself. But so this is kind of a natural evolution of that. It was just like, hey, here's how things, I'm not super like, oh, I need to create content, but I'm like, hey, here's something I want to show people. And so that's, I guess, what got me into it, because I wasn't seeing a lot of people focusing on the same things that I had questions about.
Okay. So that's kind of what brought you to it. But I mean, at what point were you like, like I need to have my own Twitch itself? And are you planning to expand upon that at all going forward?
I probably will. I'll probably I really just like doing playthroughs. For me, content creation is tell you a little secret that's not so secret because I've talked to other people about this. I'm working on a game. So the whole Twitch thing is more like, here's something I can show people and dedicate a nice block of time, but it also helps me focus on finishing games. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. It's sort of like kind of a personal journal that if people want to look at, they can. I'm not like, oh man, I need all the views for my Twitch. It's sort of like a personal journal, but it's like I'm open to showing people what I'm doing in that aspect. And I'll probably show a little bit more of like the other things I'm working on eventually on my Twitch. But right now I'm focusing on basically getting into a rhythm of regularly getting things on Twitch.
That's what's up. So more routine is what you're looking at down the line.
Yep.
That's what's up. A routine is hard. It's really hard, especially when you just want to kick back and just play and not deal with nothing. Like a routine is pretty hard, but once you get into it, it starts to feel like, I don't know, it just feels good. It feels accomplishing, or you feel accomplished. That's the best way I can put it, because I'm ass with words, but I do my best. I am ass with words, but anyways, moving on a little bit more. Most beloved console of all time, is it the Game Boy, since you mentioned it already, or is there something else that happened in the future that you ended up loving a whole lot? What's happening?
So I could say the Game Boy because it's easily probably my most played, but I'm gonna say my most beloved is, this is wild.
Oh boy.
Any of those little Tiger Electronics.
Here, oh my goodness.
Here is why. Because I live in a time and in places where I did not have regular access to anything but those Tiger Electronics or those dollar store 8-in-1 game systems that were mostly like Tetris and variations of Frogger, but only with blocks and stuff like that, those cheap ones. And that's all I had. And so in a way, it became endearing to be like, oh yeah, like I used to carry around I had one for Paperboy and one for Mortal Kombat, and I never left anywhere without them because they were mine and I could and they were like the cheap Tiger Electronics.
Oh my god, how is that? How? How did that end up being
but it's
there?
True. It's true. It's like, I
love the reel, though. I love the reel. You just opened that all the way up and you said, come on with the smoke if you want it.
Yeah. I'm very, I think a lot of people who haven't necessarily experienced gaming in the worst possible ways would be like, why would you play that? And I'm like, because once upon a time I had to, and in a way it has its charm and you just can't get used to it. I could make it all the way through in Paperboy at one point in time.
That's what's up. All right, so yeah, we moving on from that one. No more Tiger Electronic talk right now. We're moving from that one. Moving forward. But anyways, so this is a little game that I like to do every episode. Pretty fun. I'm gonna name a console, and I want you to do your best to name the first game that comes to your mind when you hear that console. Okay?
Okay.
So you said you started with the Game Boy, so I'm using that as a reference point. If you don't know the answer, just say pass. But third party games are okay. So if you say something that all the consoles had, that's fine. It's not excluded to first party. Cool?
All right.
All right, so the very first one I'm going with is going to be the Sega Genesis.
Sonic 2.
Ooh, good one. Next one's going to be Game Boy. Might as well.
Kid Icarus.
Kid Icarus, got it. Next one right after that, PlayStation 2.
Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
dope game.
I put probably 1,000 hours into that game.
Let's go. That game was so good. Oh my goodness. I about rebought Gauntlet for the Dreamcast just because I got one, but it was like $60 and I was just like, nah.
Yeah, I still have my copy of Gauntlet.
Yeah. That game was fire. That game was absolutely fun.
It was
so
much fun.
All right, PlayStation 1.
Vigilante 8.
Ooh, okay. A little bit of like Twisted Metal like kind of game, except I used to always get down with the bus. I was all about that bus.
I like the Bionic Woman. It's mostly because she was like, I may be half human, but I am all woman. And it was just like so funny to me as a little kid. Why do I even remember that? Because, yeah, I played way too many.
All right. You're doing really well so far. Let's make it a little more difficult and say Sega Dreamcast.
Phantasy Star?
Yep. Phantasy Star.
No, I was thinking Phantasy Star.
No, wait a second.
Phantasy Star.
No, yeah, I was thinking of something else. Something else. I can't say it though because
so for
I don't
the
want
Dreamcast, the only game I think I put like that many hours into was that toy game, the toy tanky game, truck game. It was like little toy cars and planes. I don't know what it was called because I didn't have one.
It wasn't Army Men, was it?
No, it was like toy planes.
I don't even know if they had an Army
I didn't
Men
own
for
one.
Dreamcast.
I didn't own one. My cousin did, and that was his favorite game. It was like a toy, like tank game and trucks and stuff.
Can't think of it off of the top of my head.
No, I never owned one. But...
So we're gonna pass on that one.
Okay,
the game that I was gonna say was Power Stone. That's what I thought you were thinking of when you said Phantasy Star. I was thinking of Power Stone for some reason.
I think every game that I've played that's Dreamcast has been on an emulator, so I didn't know it was a Dreamcast game.
So you just sneaky stealing games. You don't even know what console. See. That's what that tiger is good for. Is just playing them knockoffs.
What? Come on! I mean, the emulator's like legit, like especially.
Yeah, you playing that NFL 2K21 somehow, while everybody else is still playing 05. All right. So, anyways, the next one's gonna be the original Xbox.
I think the only game I played on that was that Enter the Matrix.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go back down to original Nintendo.
Kid Icarus as well.
Okay.
Or Wario Woods, actually, I think. I probably put way more hours into Wario Woods.
Okay, quickly back or quickly forward to Super Nintendo.
Also Wario Woods? It's on both of them, and I know this because when I moved, we didn't get to
You're such a cheater.
No, when we moved, we didn't get to keep the SNES, the NES, and so but my cousins had the Super Nintendo, and I was like, oh, this is the same game, and I started over from scratch. It's like,
oh Lord,
I only beat that game like 3 years ago.
Okay, wow, that is extremely recent for something like that. Oh my!
No, it's
goodness.
because I always lost access to it, and eventually I would pick it up again on another device.
Yeah, and that Tiger.
I bought it,
right
and eventually I bought it on the
3DS,
and then I finished it on 3DS.
No, anytime you say I played it somewhere else, I'm just imagining the Tiger. Like from now on, that's just how it is.
I didn't have a whole lot of systems as a kid, so like when people talk about games, like a lot of my gaming was either emulators or PC gaming.
I tell you what though, not to cut you off, but I tell you what, for somebody that didn't have a whole lot of stuff, you're doing a really good job on this game. Because I've had people that have had plenty of this stuff, or at least have said that they had plenty of this stuff, And I go to say something like PlayStation 1, they're like, And I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. I mean, when you get questions on a show, I mean, it's just how it goes. You start to forget simple shit, but you're doing pretty well. I mean, I'd like to commend you on that one. Throwing a little props. But couple more consoles. The next one's gonna be PS3.
Fat Princess.
What?
Fat Princess. What? You never heard the glories of Fat Princess?
I so did. You teaching me something right now.
So it was like one of these large multiplayer games, and like basically you have this princess, and you fed. It's totally inappropriate. So like you'd be fighting against another team of like a lot of different people, and they'd be trying to kidnap your princess, and your princess, you could give her cake and make her fatter, so she would require more people to.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it'd fly anymore.
I'm not cleaning it up. I can't. You had to be there.
Man, yeah, they made some crazy games. Have you ever played a game called Leisure Suit Larry?
No, I own it.
Oh, you own it?
Or have it.
Oh man, Leisure Suit Larry is a dope game. If anybody in the chat has ever heard of that game, holla at your boy. Man, I need to find that game.
I guess I also have games. Because I have PC, I have games.
Yeah, you got a lot of games in. Got it. All right, and then the last one that we're gonna go with is gonna be the Series S and X.
Fine. Series S and X. You're not gonna go with the. Never mind. So.
Well, I mean, I could just keep shooting off systems.
I was figuring you'd throw an obscure one like that Nintendo VR system.
No.
I played Mario Tennis on that.
Yes, I did too, and that gave me headaches. But that game was cool. That game was pretty cool, but it like the red outlines were just awful for your eyes.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with specifically Gears Hive Busters.
Okay, wow. That's the first thing you think of.
I got to play it on that, and I was like, "This is amazing." I really love Gears Hive Busters, though. I really do. I really love it.
All right, so going on to the next subject, what is a type of game that you refuse to play? You won't pick it up. I mean, I understand this is hard. Sometimes you see a genre that you don't really like that much, but they have that game.
Oh, no, it's easy.
Okay, what's up? Hit me.
I don't play any military shooters.
No military shooters.
Absolutely do not play military shooters.
Why is that? That's very specific.
I don't really like the whole, I guess, and by that I mean like modern, like, real world military shooters. Like I'll play Halo or whatever. I don't really like the real world culture of military shooters and like, the complex political aspect of all that. So I just avoid them.
Like it's just a little like realistic to the point where it's like it's awkward to be shooting Russians.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I mean, I feel you, and I think a lot of people understand where you're coming from in that. And I don't think that's talked about enough. Because that is a very interesting subject. Like, why are we still playing war games where it's like United States versus China and like Korea and like it's just weird. I feel like it's a little bit divisive and kind of is easy to, I don't know, be, nationalism. I don't want to get too political, but
yes.
but I see, but what I'm trying to say is I see what you're saying, and that is kind of cringe when you step back and think about it. Yes. So that was a quick answer for that one. So for the last year, 2021, there were several games that came out. I want you to list 3 of those games that you really enjoyed, and one of them that stands out amongst the other 2.
The last year? Uh, it's like I can't think of games when they come out a year because have you heard me about my whole I don't really buy games that are cost more than $30? So I am totally a patient gamer. I think it's like the
That's
whole
good.
PC aspect where I'm
I need
kind
to
of
learn
cheap.
from you. I'm terrible.
Um, but so I don't know what I would say. Probably a games that I've had a lot of fun in. Obviously,
You
Monster
got
Hunter
Game Pass
Rise.
too, obviously, so you played some games that dropped, I'm sure.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise. The Ascent.
The Ascent was dope. Especially if you played it single player. Online was ass. But
No, the online is not that bad. It's one of those
it's
few
not
games
that
where
good.
I was okay with the jank enough to keep trying to play the online. It was like there are very few games where I'm like, this is janky, but I'm enjoying myself so much that I'm just gonna continue through with this jank. I'm trying to think.
I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. It wasn't the jank that made me mad about that game. It was the fact that it janked up enough to kick me out, and then when I logged back in, I lost my stuff
Oh,
multiple times. Multiple times. So that is the reason. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like janky games. I'm not like
yeah.
advocating for coming out with games not working day one. I want a game to be polished and look really good. But if it's gonna be janky, I don't want to lose shit. I don't want to lose progression. I don't want to lose items that I can only get by beating certain bosses within that game. So as soon as I noticed that I was losing stuff and could not get it back, delete it.
I understand.
It
Uh,
sucks. I loved that. I thought that game was
yeah.
great, and I was capping hard for it. I thought it was gonna be really big. It came out to be like a 62 or something like on Metacritic, and I don't really care about Metacritic that much. But I was like, oh, that sucks. I'm gonna play anyways, and I hopped in and played, and I was like, oh, like this is great. And then I started losing stuff, and I was like, all right, that score is okay with me now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so that's my thing. I completely agree with what you're saying. Where there are games where I'm thinking of games like when you said over in the last year, I'm thinking of like 2021 games. So that would probably be. I also, in the same token, I really loved Outriders.
Me too. I beat that
I
game, loved it.
I had before they added the new achievements. I had all the achievements. I played to the end game, and then I realized the end game was impossible and by yourself, and that the multiplayer was broken.
Ooh, it
Um,
was so broken.
I was like, is it just me or does everyone get lag? And everyone was like, nope, it's just you get lag, and eventually half the time get kicked, and those drop rates, those abysmal drop rates.
Oh
Uh,
man, and I was playing with people that had like because that game came out, kind of fairly early in the year last year, and I was playing with people that hadn't upgraded yet to the Series X and S. So like those load times were forever, and then when they'd get kicked, it took like another 5 to 10 minutes just to get them back into the game because their load times are terrible, and the the server was having issues up the yin yang, so you would think you were like loading and waiting to get in, and then it'd pop up another screen and say it failed or something like that over and over and
yep.
over. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was not a fun time. The game was fantastic. The story was okay. Story could have been a little bit better, but
What story? I can't skip cutscenes.
yeah, you
I'm
just
one of
gotta skip
those.
it.
I'm one of those. I'm like, skip it, skip it. You're talking too much. Skip it.
Yeah, it was kind of like some of the cutscenes were kind of cringy. Some of them, like the lead up few cutscenes were really cool when like you were talking to that dude who was super strong, you like strangling you on the neck.
Yep.
That was cool, but then it kind of started doing some of that, like really hard down and then up a little bit and then a little harder down. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't that
And it
great.
went really. It was a lot of story for something that went absolutely nowhere.
Right. Right. It was weird. But anyways, so you listed a couple games. Did you list three?
uh, could say It Takes Two, but I played that this year, I think. So I don't count games I played this year. So, oh, I actually I said Monster Hunter. Um, I will actually say Forza Horizon.
Oh, okay.
And here's why. I do not play racing games. The racing aspect is my least favorite thing about a racing game. I'm like that person, like especially if I'm playing with other people, I'm gonna just run my car into them and make them mess up. But I really enjoy the non-racing aspects of the game. Like just running around, stunts, jumping off things, smacktus.
Yeah, for some reason I love the speed thing, like the speed trap things where you have to just like try to go as fast as you can.
Yep.
And it was kind of fun because it shows online after you did it like who else is in front of you or who's behind you. And I was playing the game in the like that week that you have to pay to play it. It didn't come out on Game Pass yet. Like it was a week prior. I was playing it then, and I was just going versus homies and whatnot, pretty much from obviously Xbox Live, but it was really fun going back and forth with them because I'd drive over by that speed trap and be like, hold on a second, how did I end up in third? We need to run this back real quick. So I'd always be redoing that kind of stuff. The jumps were really fun too. So yeah, especially that airport jump. Oh man, I don't know how many times I done did that airport jump.
Yeah, and I think it had something. If like, oh, you don't like racing games, well, here's the thing. And I also enjoyed the fact that progress wasn't tied to winning the race. So like you continue on, like even though you like lost, like yay, enjoy your 12th place. But I was like, but I had fun, and I also discovered this road now. Yes, score.
Right. Did you get the treasure map in that game?
No.
Oh, it's map? Oh yeah. There's like a $3 treasure map that you can, like it's $3 real dollars. Treasure map that you can purchase, and it'll show you all of the XP and like fast travel things that you can pick up, and it really opens up the game and makes you like when I purchased it, which was like a day later. After I had started playing the early release, it was really cool. It really kept me like glued to that game until I got everything off of that treasure map. So I highly recommend you maybe check that out and see if it's something that you want. I think it's like $3 or maybe it's $5 or something like that. But to me it was worth it because it made the game. It just made the game last a little bit longer and feel a little bit better to play, just because I could see where things kind of were.
I got the nail polish.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord! You brought that here. You really brought that here. How is it?
It's actually nice. Surprisingly, I really like the color. I do admit that I got it for the skins, but I like the color, and so I was like, well, I got this nail polish for the skins. I might as well wear it. And it's like funny because I don't wear nail polish normally ever. So yeah.
That is hilarious. I didn't expect you just to randomly blurt out, I got the nail polish. That was great.
Honest.
Yes, you are, and I love it. So this very year, I'm curious what you are looking out for. I know I said give me a game, but I want you to give me a couple because this year feels pretty stacked with a lot of different games. So throw out some stuff that you're really excited for this year.
Room Factory 5. Room Factory 5.
Oh my God.
I've been saying, like, I know people are like, what? And I'm like, I played this game 2012 and I loved it. And that was the last one we got. Until now.
You're blown away.
I was like, I forget, they announced, like, when they announced it at Nintendo Direct, They announced it with some other games, and like one of them was like one of the Zelda games, and that obviously overshadowed the announcement. And but then all five of us had been waiting for Rune Factory 5, and we still believed, were like, it's happening, and everyone would be like, shut up, it's not happening. And we were like, hot in your face, it's happening. We're getting Rune Factory 5. I don't know if you know anything about Rune Factory. It's like
I don't know a damn thing about
it's
that.
the sister series to Harvest Moon, which is now called
Oh,
Story
okay. Yeah.
So it's like the sister series to that, but it's like more, it's like an action adventure.
That
like,
game is so expensive right now. Harvest Moon. That game is like, because that game, wasn't it for. Oh my god. Wasn't that game for the. I want to say 64.
Yeah, but so honestly, I think Harvest Moon has steadily improved over the years. Like, I would not probably really go back and play an older one. The newer ones I enjoy more. But not Harvest Moon. It has to be Story of Seasons, because Harvest Moon is not the old series.
Oh, okay.
So they just own the rights to the name Harvest Moons, and they used to localize it, but so they basically made like cheap knockoffs of Harvest that are the old series. And the old series, the original series, is now called Story of Seasons. I always have to give that little tidbit so people know.
All right. So, is there any other games though? I mean, that's one.
I think the next game I'm excited for is probably Starfield.
Oh.
I didn't expect I really love space games, so there aren't enough of them.
There's a Star Trek coming out. There is a Star Trek game coming out. I've seen at the Game Awards. But the thing is, Star Trek has like a reputation for being boring games, or
I would have low expectations of us.
Like RTS kind of games as well.
I like RTS.
Okay, so if you like RTS, you might like some of the older Star Trek games that are on PC.
Yes.
But but as for like console Star Trek games, the last thing I can really remember is like, I think it was like Super Nintendo or something like that, that had like a Star Trek game where they had like the whole, like, you were on the actual like main deck and shit like that, and calling orders. I think you were Kirk or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's the last thing I remember. But you're excited for Starfield, eh? Like, are you going to be playing that on the cloud, or are you going to be playing that?
Probably the cloud, because how else am I supposed to play it? I don't have a. I'm holding out for the Gears series console.
Oh, so the Gears.
There's going to be a Gears one, and it's going to look better than the people's Halo one. And I know this, Lord. And I believe in it.
Throwing shade.
I thought the Halo one looks fantastic, but you know, I always think that the Gears ones look the best.
There is a Dying Light one that I seen that looked really freaking cool. It was like all white with like black and red like splotches on it. Looked really cool. Looked like somebody got their head bashed in by it or something like that. But
Bayonetta, that's the third game.
Okay. Oh yeah, for a Switch?
Yes.
Gotcha. Moving forward, 2 games that you would like to go back into the past, pick up, and bring them to now. What are they?
So, what do you mean by 2 games in the past and bring them to now, and like, would they get another game installation or?
What I'm saying is, if you were to walk into the past and be like, you know what? I miss that game and I miss that game, and I want to give it triple, quadruple A freaking budget to be remade and look absolutely stunning. What you got?
Goodness, now this is the hard question.
Yeah.
So many games. So many games.
I know if you ask me this question on any given day, I might give you 2 different games each time. I don't know. But I'm just kind of curious to see what's in your head right now.
I would probably pick one of them would be the RoboCop game. Um, could you imagine that game? Like, come on.
That would be interesting. Are we able to be Stallone? Is that what's going on?
RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop was Stallone, right?
You're young, aren't you?
I mean, if you want to call 33 young, I guess.
Oh, we're the same age. I don't. I think it was like some random dude, wasn't it? It was some random dude.
I thought RoboCop was Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, you're thinking about you're mixing up that with Judge Dredd.
All right. Well, I'm
Also
finna look up who played RoboCop. Let's see. Who was the main character in RoboCop?
Don't look up that new one. That didn't happen.
Oh, you're right. Damn it. It was Paul. is Peter Weller.
Let me tell you, I know a lot about RoboCop because that was the first movie to traumatize me.
Traumatized you.
I was traumatized. I was allowed to watch it, and I remember sitting there like, oh, so we're just really
just blasting through everybody.
Yeah.
Yep, he was barely a cop.
I was like, oh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how it was, though. I mean, they had all kinds of crazy movies like that. I mean, movies aren't really as much like that as they used to be when it comes to just mowing things down. Because you think, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies back in those days were massive with, especially, like, the movie Commando. The body count in that movie was just dumb.
You were just allowed to do it, though. Just like, okay, this is okay. Yeah, and we should market it towards children.
Right, and True Lies was another one that was just insane with the body count. All right, so that's one game, RoboCop. What's the second one?
This might sound odd to say, but Sims 3.
Come on now.
Here's why. In ways, so the trend jump from Sims 1 to Sims 2 to Sims 3, each of those jumps was very amazing and radical and like wild and mind-blowing. The jump from Sims 3 to Sims 4 was not that great. It wasn't a great jump. It didn't really wow me in the same way that Sims 3. And I think if Sims 3 had been a game made more recently, it would have been a more phenomenal game than Sims 4 is. Because I kind of feel like meh about Sims 4. The price gouging and other things. But the open world features and all that stuff in Sims 3, the problem was Sims 3 was a very broken game. When I talk about games that you play and like you play through the jank, like I would literally, people would get stuck in the ground, and that's when you knew you had to just like delete your town and start over again, and you were okay with starting over again. But I think Sims 3 made on like more modern technology with the same features and some better would be a better game than Sims 4.
Fair enough. That's your game that you want to bring back. Your game you want to bring back. I ain't gonna lie though, I really got into I think it was like Sims 2 or something like that way back in the day. It might have even been the original Sims. I don't remember. It was the one where you could like hit control, like copy and paste the name Rosebud over and over and over. You can get a crap ton of cash. And I used to just build up and then put fire or yeah, of course I'd make a fire in that game, but I'd put trash cans all over the place.
Remove the ladders.
Oh yeah. I was all about. I was a little hellion playing that game, just trying to kill everybody. But it was terrible. But here's kind of a dark question, a little bit. What about gaming frustrates you at all? And this can be in any aspect.
I think the need of well, I guess, the especially with big budget games, for them to double down on things with mass appeal instead of reinventing things because for creative purposes, if you understand what I mean. Um where you get like, oh, this is what's popular, this is what's cool, this is what other companies are doing. So instead of making a game that, oh, this is, this might catch more. Hey, here's an idea that there's a difference between an idea that, oh, more people might like this. So, maybe we should try this. This is a great idea. And you know what? That is definitely what those other games doing that people like, and we should do that too. And I think a lot of the latter happens, and it's kind of frustrating to see. I think especially, if you like turn-based games and you're like, oh yeah, and the thing is, I don't hate non-turn-based games, but it's like, I, sometimes like your favorite turn-based game will become like franchise, will become an action franchise, but it's not even great. It doesn't like do anything stellar. It's just like, okay, now it's like action. It's cool.
Gotcha.
So I think that's probably the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be pretty frustrating when people are kind of snatching ideas from other people, and it just kind of gets old and repetitive. I mean, you could definitely say that about like the way that Ubisoft is kind of looking when it comes to like
I don't think have you heard my rant about
yeah,
yeah,
like I mean, it is. I mean, Ubisoft kind of, you know what you're gonna get from them for the most part, and that's kind of what sucks about it, right? Is because you know a little bit too much of what you're gonna get.
Yep.
And what they do make new is from someone else that's already doing that. So yeah, go on ahead and rant on if you want.
Yeah, I think the reason the Ubisoft thing hurt so much is because they used to make a lot of stuff I liked, and gradually became a thing. And it's like, oh, like I always talk about how I was telling someone, oh, you'll like that if you like their games, and then they were like, what do you that supposed to mean? I'm like, no, I don't mean in a bad way. They have this formula, it works for them, and they're good at it, but they don't offer a lot as far as diverse gameplay experiences, as I guess the best way to describe it. Yeah.
That's what you're going with.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, I try, because it's not like I'm like, oh, I hate this. It's just not for me. That's like kind of how I view a lot of things. Like, it's not for me anymore. So
That's a
I
fair
dipped out.
take. That's a good take to have to keep people off your back. All right, so let's go back over to a positive question, and let me ask you, what would be like a dream come true in gaming?
Gaming?
Like a whole ass dream.
Viva Pinata?
A new Viva Pinata?
Yes, a new Viva Pinata. I believe.
You're so modest.
I believe.
That's such a modest answer. Of all things to wish for in gaming, you wish for
I just want
for
Viva
a garden. You wish for a garden.
No, I guess I'm an easy to please gamer, but the things I like are things that don't happen. So a lot of the things I'm like, man, I'd really love that, is like, are the things that are like fat chances that's going to happen. So you kind of get your wishes will be modest things, because you're not asking for like the grand thing. You don't want, you don't really care about like the gaming community culture. I want this acquisition or this or whatever, all the big things going on. You just like, this small game that I liked and these other people liked, I just want more of that.
Got it. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But it's funny that you say, "Oh yeah, I'm asking for these little things," but it ain't gonna happen. You don't know. You don't know. Viva Pinata was pretty popular. So and that is, an Xbox only kind of title. So I feel like if they really want to get back into their bag, I feel like that's up there on one of the things that they could possibly be looking at and thinking about bringing back. Really good idea. Really weird dream though. Weird dream. Yes. All right, but outside of gaming, what do you enjoy doing? We're getting down to the last few questions.
Okay. Well, there's cosplay. I write a lot. A whole lot. I also doodle. It's a little more advanced than doodling, but I'm not great. I'm not bad. I just
Professional
there
doodler.
yeah, there are just people that are better than me. But so like I like to draw the concept art for like the things I'm working on, but then I'll actually like if I actually need someone, I'll turn it over to an actual good artist. I don't have bad at concept art, but I'm just not great. And if I put more time into it, I could probably be great. Something else. I may have a minor other than cosplay. My other obsession is with miniatures. I have a dollhouse. Um, right now I'm deciding what colors to paint it. And then you have to actually I actually go to like the paint place to
Yeah, like a
pick up,
Sherwin Williams or something.
yeah, and pick up the small cans of like paint to like paint the walls and stuff like that.
That's
And
cool.
make some furniture for it and stuff like that. So
That's a hell of a hobby right there. That's a hell of a hobby. That I mean, you got to be really cool with just working with little tiny things and being cool with painting real tiny.
they're
I
tiny
mean, that's.
things.
I
Who
mean,
doesn't
my,
like
my,
tiny-
my finger's too damn big for shit like that. You can miss me with that. But if that's your thing, congratulations to you. But that's really cool. I mean, that's a pretty dope hobby. I got like I tried to get into like models like for cars and stuff like that, but I got tired of just breaking shit all the time. I was always breaking my little model pieces, trying to get them to go together. I think it's just I'm stubborn and I'm impatient, so I don't think models were probably the best thing for me.
How my dollhouse is like all like wood, not like the composite, but like the wood boards. So it's like it's heavy. It's like thick. You'd have to work to break anything on it. It does. I did accidentally spill some juice on the steps when I was putting it together, and it's kind of warped a little.
Juice.
Yes, I know. Technically apple cider, but that's juice. It's juice.
Well, now it's Applewood. You got yourself some Applewood. Good job. All right. And then what's one thing that you'd be comfortable with sharing that not a lot of people know about you? I know you kind of said something earlier that I didn't know that I thought was really intriguing about the whole game thing.
But gaming, me having grown up in the gaming slums of gaming.
No, you saying that like you were making something.
Oh yeah. It's the early stage. It's gonna take a long time. It'll probably be it's like a 4-year project. It's not really but I guess that would be probably the most interesting thing that I'm working on is working on making this game. I have the story board all written out. I have a lot of concept art for it. Right now I'm just working to get my programming skills to where they need to be to make the game, and then I'm not sure if I have friends who are artists and could actually do the visuals for it, and I might seek out them to work on it with me.
That's
But,
so
yeah.
cool, though. That's really cool that you're working on something like that. Are you able to talk about anything about that yet, or is that still 100% under wraps?
I mean, I can talk about the vagueness. It's going to be a sci-fi adventure action. It's going to be probably a little top-down pixel game. The games I took inspiration from would be probably Rune Factory. But farming elements. But it's sort of like right now I'm still working on learning the coding that I need to get this up in to where it needs to be.
For sure. That sounds really cool. That's a process. It's something you're gonna have to just spend some time to figure out, which could be fun and frustrating all at the same time. But congratulations on putting, something together and trying to, put your put your money where your mouth is when it comes to gaming. You ain't just talking about it or playing it, but you're making it. So congratulations, really cool. Keep pushing. All right, but now one of my final questions that I recently started adding to these episodes is, do you happen to have any questions at all for me?
I'm laughing because I'm like, I can ask some really wild questions, but
You could. I don't really care.
no, usually my questions are like, no one's probably asked this question before. Like, I was talking to like a Final Fantasy guy, and I was asked him a question like no one ever asked him, and it was like, what flavor is each game for you? And yeah, exactly. Like no one it's not something that's so much. I guess, would you ever consider getting into game development?
Absolutely. I mean, really, any facet of gaming that I could possibly get my hands on getting into, I would take it in a heartbeat. Absolutely. I mean, I just, I've always loved gaming, and I've always wanted to be within the community. And I'm at the point in my life right now where I'm just kind of like, you know what, fuck it. I like this shit. I'm gonna scream from the rooftops. I don't care anymore. It's not a secret. It's not something I'm keeping from my friends anymore. Hey, if you're old friend of mine, I'm referring you to my YouTube channel now. And like, if you don't mess with it, cool. That's fine with me. We can still chill, do whatever. But that's my focus now. You know. So yeah. So like something like a developer. I mean, wow, that would be really amazing to do that kind of stuff. I don't know the first thing about doing that shit, but to learn and have tools to be able to learn that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would definitely sit down and just beat myself up until I figured it out. If somebody, found some faith in me and decided to hit me up about something like that. Yeah.
Might send you some links then.
Okay.
There's plenty of free internet resources on this stuff, and I'm working in Godot because it's like a free open source engine. But yeah, it's even if it's like at the end of the day, for me, the game development process is kind of like my writing. I don't really care or expect people to look at it, but it's like I did this thing, and here's what I have to show, and I'm proud of it.
Right. That's kind of how this is right here with this show and whatnot. It's just like, this is my diary of me confessing, how much I like to game and how far I'm willing to take it. Don't burn yourself now. But is there any other questions though while you're at it? 'Cause I really like that question. That was a fun one.
Um, I think if you were to work in game development, would you want to do it all yourself, or would there be a specific aspect of it that you would be most interested in?
Well, I think doing things all by myself is boring, especially like a project to that magnitude. I feel like it'd be the only thing that would suck about working with somebody is if you're constantly disagreeing. But if you can find somebody that is fairly like-minded but will push you to kind of think outside the box when you're kind of being boring in general, that would be more appealing to me than me just taking all of my ideas and figuring it out and doing it myself. I just think that'd be a little bit more boring. I mean, sure. I mean, like if I was doing it for money and, you know, I knew how to do all the stuff on my own, you know, maybe after a collaboration, I'd maybe think of something like that. But the way I'd want to walk into the door would be with a collaboration. And hey, I did A, B, and C, and he did, you know, D, E, F.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think those were my two big questions.
All right, cool. Really good questions. I appreciate you having something prepared to ask me, or whether you thought of that randomly
Oh no,
or whatnot.
I actually think about like the questions I'm asked. I treat everything like it's a job interview.
You never know, it might be. Yeah, I mean,
both good and bad.
it's the internet, you know. So I mean, you're in a constant interview with your life whenever you post and put stuff on here, and I don't think a whole lot of people understand. Oh, Aaron, I think he said he's got to get going. So I appreciate you for stopping through and staying for so long. That's what's up, bro. Thank you.
Bye, Aaron.
But anyways, man, I lost my train of thought. Right there. I completely lost my train of thought.
Let's see, what were we talking about? I said something about an interview. You said something about an interview.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. I think a lot of people don't understand, like, and maybe they do understand it, and they want to hide behind, you know, fake profile pictures and whatnot. And you know, if you want to do that, that's kind of weird. Whatever. Fake profile pictures are cool. I mean, I don't care about that. But when you're saying out of pocket stuff with fake profile pictures and you got like 5 followers and stuff like that, I feel like it's just weird, unnecessary, and if somebody finds out who you are, that is not going to look good for you in the future, possibly. You know, because if people run, you know, pretty much do an internet credit check on your ass and look you up and find some crazy shit that you done said, you know, you might get passed up on something that you've been dreaming about all your life. So be careful with how you use the internet, folks. But yeah. So the way we're going to wrap this up is I want you to describe gaming for me in just 3 words.
Fun? Freeing? Community?
You said it all like a question to me.
I was just, like, those are like the 3 words off the top of my head that I would think to describe gaming. Like, and it's sort of like, I was like, wait, when you say, it's like because I have like a whole bunch of different thought processes going in the background. One was like, wait, when you say describe, should I be saying adjectives or nouns? Which is like a weird thing to think about. Like, you just said 3 words, but I'm like, should I be saying adjectives? So these things are like happening in my head.
You are thinking too much. Too much. Cool off. Cool off. All right. So yeah. I was just like you could have said it in like the form of like a phrase or 3 separate words. However you wanted to say it. What you said was fine. So go on ahead and say it one more time if you remembered it.
Fun, freeing, and community.
All right. So I think we're going to leave it with that. Thank you, everybody that came to the show to check it out. Make sure you do me a quick favor and hit that like button. And if you enjoyed watching the show and all of our quirkiness and me fucking up the intro and yada, yada, yada. If you enjoyed all that stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come back. We're going to be having all sorts of different types of people coming into the future. I'm going to get Gaz rescheduled because he was supposed to be the next episode, but that didn't happen. But Miles Dompierre will also be on here. That'll be a really cool one with the gentleman from Windows Central. So make sure you guys come out. Yeah. Make sure you come out, check it out, learn a little bit about him, his history with gaming, and watch him get on the hot seat about what consoles and games he can think of and whatnot. But as I said before, really appreciate everybody that stopped through. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit me or Cozy up on Twitter. If you guys want to chat about games, bullshit, we're all about it. It's no console war over here. We're just kicking it, playing games, having fun. Sometimes we make fun of shit. It's just how it goes. But at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing, playing video games. So